Hello, so I've been told Ben plays 15 games of basketball. Here are the points he scored in each game. So I've got 15 numbers here. So in the first game, he scored 17. In the second game, he scored 18. In the third game, he scored 18, and so on, and so on, and so on. And I've been asked to draw a box plot for this information. So what does a box plot involve? A box plot essentially looks something like this. So I'm just drawing a rough kind of image like that. Oops, rough image like that. Okay, and we've got something like that, and then we've got that as well. So what do each one of these lines represent? Well, this line here represents the highest value. This line here represents the lowest value. So fairly obviously the highest value is going to be 28 and the lowest value is going to be 17. Okay, this line in the middle here represents the median. Okay, so the median value is the value which lies in the middle of that data. Okay, and then these two lines either side, so this line here and this line here, represent the lower quartile and represent the upper quartile. So remember what a quartile is. A quartile comes from the word quarter, so it means it's been split into four equal sections. So essentially what we're doing here is we're taking this data and we're splitting it up into 4 equal sections. So I've split it up into 2 at the moment. Then all I'm going to do then is just going to split it up into 2 more sections. I'm going to split it up into 2 more sections. So there we go, that's it split up into 2 more sections. And then I'll just simply plot those values on. Now I just zoomed through that very quickly because I just wanted to remind you what a box plot actually was. But actually we should slow down and go through it properly, just in case you don't get given data like this in exam. So first things first, we need to make sure that the data is in order, which very kindly the examiners have given us ordered data, so we don't need to worry about that. But to be honest with you, putting data in order, it's not that difficult. Okay, so the next step is then I want to put the lowest value and the highest value on the data. So the lowest value and the highest value, because it's in order, is easy to read off. It's 17 is the lowest value and 28 is the highest value. Now I need to work out what my scale is going to be on this box plot. So I need to go from 17 to 28. All right. Now look if I plot this scale on. So maybe if I put 5 here, 10 here, 15 here, 20 here, 25 here, 30 here, 35 there. That's an equally good box plot because all I'll be using is this range here. Okay. But I'm not using 3. So actually I could probably double the size of that. Because if I plot my lowest and highest values on at the moment, so 17 to my reckoning should be there. Okay, 17 should be there, and 28 to my reckoning should be there. So that's the range of my box plot. But look at all this space which I'm not using. Look at all this space which I'm not using. Technically, the examiners can't mark you down for it, but it's just nicer. It's good practice to really spread your data out. So actually, I could make that twice as far if I wanted to. So in other words, I could put 15 down here. I could actually change the scale to have 15 down here, 15 down here. I could then have 20 here. I could then have 25 here. And I could have 30 here. So it's much more spread out. But how much is each box referring to? Well, are you happy that in there I've got how many little boxes? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 20. Okay, I've got 20. And I only need to represent 5. So it's otherwise going to be 5 over 20. That's how much each box is going to be worth. Which, of course, comes out as a quarter. So if I just want to represent 1, if I want to know how many boxes I need to represent 1 unit, then I'm just going to have 4 of those boxes because 4 quarters put together represent 1. So in other words, 1 unit would be 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 1 unit. Okay, and this would be another unit. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's worth going along actually and just plotting all of your units in because it will make things easier and it will stop you making mistakes. Okay, and it's really worthwhile with these types of questions just to slow it down, really take your time, because there's a phrase: measure twice, cut once, or measure twice, draw once in this case. So now I've drawn my individual values on, I can really easily plot my 17 because my 17 is clearly going to be there. And of course you should be using a ruler, but unfortunately on this tablet I can't use a ruler. Okay, so I'm just going to have to do my best. Okay, and my highest value is 28, so my highest value is 28, so that's there to my reckoning. That's there to my reckoning. Okay, now I need to plot my median value. Well, what's my median value? My median is worked out. It's worked out in a couple of ways, but the way which I work it out is n plus 1 over 2. So n is just the number of values which I've got, which is 15. Okay, so I've got 15 plus 1, which is 16. And I divide that by 2, so that comes out as 8. So that comes out as 8. So I know that my median is going to fall at my 8th value on my list. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th value. So there's my median. There is my median. So at 22, so let's plot that on. So 1, 2, there's 22 there. So I know that's going to be my median. Okay, now it's just coming up to, now it's just down to upper and lower quartiles. So my quartiles are worked out nice and easily. Okay, it's just going to be n over 4. Each quartile is going to be worth n over 4. So what's n again? It's going to be 15. So what's 15 divided by 4? Well, 15 divided by 2 is going to be 7.5. So 15 divided by 4 is just going to be half of 7.5. So 7.5 divided by 2 is 3.75. So 3.75. So I'm looking for my lower quartile. So my lower quartile, if I do that in green, my lower quartile is just going to be at 3.75 of the way through my list. My median, well, I've already worked out my median. It's going to be at my 7.5 value, which I round up to 8. So remember, when I have points, I just round them up, okay? And at my upper quartile range, my upper quartile value is going to be 3.75 plus 7.5 plus 3.75. So that's going to be at 11.25. Okay, so let's find my 3.75 value in my list. So there's 1, 2, 3. Well, it's going to be halfway or about 3/4 of the way between 18 and 18. So therefore, I just take 18 as the average of that because they're both the same. So let's find 18. So there's my 18 there. So that is my lower quartile. That's my lower quartile. Let's find my upper quartile. It's at my 11.25 value of the way through the list. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's my 11.25. So I round it down to 26. Okay, so there's my 26. So there's my middle value there. So there's my upper quartile. So 26th is there. Okay, and then I just draw all of that information in. So there's my interquartile range. Okay, and I put a couple of lines in the middle between that and that. So there's my box plot of that data. Now, if you're not sure what to do when you end up with sort of points and stuff, just round up or round down. Okay, so just round. So for example, this rounds to my 4th value. So my 4th value in the list is this value here. Okay, and this rounds to 11. So my 11th value in the list is this one here. Okay.